What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Okay. Now, there are just a few more things to mention about Hell House 2226, otherwise known as the Eugene Thomas Manor, or 2226 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90018. Okay. Now, this was also the house that I was living in when Maestro, or Maestro, Micestro, Maestro, Andy, Raggedy Andy, and I were exchanging that energy and going through that battle. Okay, this was the house that I was living in during that time. It's important to note. Now let's go ahead and call our light sparks back from that. I decree and declare any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got caught up within Andy. Anytime that I seen him outside of the workplace, there were a couple of times. There was this one time when he was crossing the street, and I was crossing, facing him, and he gave me this evil look and this smirk. I decree and declare any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got caught up within that smirk that he gave me are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. As well as the other time when I seen them, and this was after the warfare had sort of died down and it was a wrap. And this individual tried to get my attention, stop me and speak, and I kept it moving. I might have said hey, but I said it in a way where you could tell I didn't want to. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that got caught up in that time I seen him, and he had the nerve to try to stop me and speak, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. That was also the last time I seen them sitting up there by that stove off of Western Avenue in Pico, sitting by that stove. And I came out the house, walking to the store. I seen them. I didn't look, but nonetheless, he was there for me. Okay, them black orbs, that etheric courting and things of this nature. I decree and declare any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that were caught up, lost, trapped in the midst of that last instance of seeing this individual while he was on the phone, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Now let's move on to this other transsexual. Now this other transsexual, this trans girl, had moved into the house. Now she was cute. She was soft. I mean, you could tell she probably had been on her hormones for a long time. She looked like a woman. She did sort of give too much, but she did look like a woman. But it was something, she was on that shit hard. I'm talking about meth. She was on that shit real hard. She used to run around the house. Now, she actually got her ass beat up in that house by my next door neighbor. The one I was talking about with that he beat her down. Now I gotta tell you. There was just one time she was higher than the Cooter Brown. And I had left my door open. I forgot why I left my door open, but I left it open. Come to find out, she was up in my room, on my bed, or in my room. I felt like she was in my room more than once. That one time, it was confirmed that she was in my room. But I felt like she had been in there before because something was misplaced. Now, I gotta call my life right there for that, because ain't no telling what her or them spirits that's around her was doing in my room. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that got lost, stolen, caught up, trapped in the midst of that trans girl being up in my room without my permission, just high, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Now, you know I had to say the best for last, but I do want to talk about that last time. Talk about that last time I went into the underworld. Now, I forgot to mention what happened, okay? I was up at the hospital. I decided to go to UCLA. Now, I know that that doctor was real annoyed because I couldn't talk. Now, I got released. Now, before I got released, I had called my car because, I called my car to check my balance. Lo and behold, I had a couple of thou on there, and I wasn't expecting but about, 1,200? I had about 3 on there, okay? And I had left my card at that house. Now, I had no intentions of going back to that house. I left all my clothes. Like, I had a whole motherfucking wardrobe I left. A whole wardrobe full of I had a whole wardrobe that I left at that house. Jordans, Nikes, everything. Okay? Come on. I did not go to the house, but I knew not to. But let me tell you, since I left my card at that house, I had to go back to that house. There was a lot of fear pumping through me on the way to the house. So let's call my life source back from that. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that got lost, caught up, stolen, trapped within the midst of that ride back to that house. When I got released, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? So when I got there, I gotta tell you now, I fucked that house up. I was in a psychosis like that, and I fucked the house up. Okay? Now, my room especially had a different type of energy. You should have seen the walls. The walls were crazy. Now, I didn't do that much to the walls. That was them damn spirits that was up in that wall disintegrated. Okay? I gotta tell you, when I walked up in that house, I got to feeling it right away. When I walked up in that room, I got to feeling it right away. This spirit. Now, this spirit jumped. This was a very violent spirit. Violent and mad spirit. As soon as I walked into the room, that spirit jumped into me, or tried to jump into me. Okay? Now, it took me all about 3-4 minutes to find that card in one of my old pockets. But it felt like it was about 30 minutes because it was just, my adrenaline was pumping, and I was trying to hurry up and get the fuck up out of that room because that spirit was trying to do some motherfucking damage to my inside. Digging back is kind of funny, okay? But in that moment, it was not. Now let's go ahead and call our life source back from that. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of that, going back to the house, and that spirit being violent and angry at me, and jumping in my body and just doing whatever it was doing to me, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Now, there's one more thing I want to say before I close out. There is one more thing I want to say. Now, on the way out, I saw Mike. Now, you know Mike, the one I just talked about. And on my way out of the house, he said something to me. I didn't really care because I won't stunt him. But he did say 666. Now, as if that was supposed to scare me, which it doesn't. Now let's go ahead and call for it. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments, that got caught up within the midst of that that mic saying 666, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Thank you. Bye bye.